The arena of Caraxes Prime had never been so silent. 100,000 alien spectators filled the colossal amphitheater carved into the black glass cliffs of the planet's equatorial ridge. The sky above burned a copper red, streaked with lightning from the planet's ever-present ion storms. Floating imperial banners shimmered in the air, held aloft by gravity-null fields. Every noble house of the Varelian Dominion was represented, their jeweled exoskeletons gleaming beneath artificial suns. At the highest tier, seated upon a living throne of folded crystal and bone, sat Empress Jarol the Infinite. Her elongated form was draped in ceremonial armor, her 4 eyes glowing like distant stars. She had ruled for 3 centuries, undefeated in politics, war, and cruelty. Entire species had been bent to her will, their histories rewritten to serve her glory. Today was a celebration, a spectacle, a final humiliation. In the center of the arena stood a single figure, human, Captain Elias Rourke of the Terran Expeditionary Fleet. He was smaller than any Varelian warrior, bound in scorched combat armor, visor cracked, blood trailing from beneath his helmet. Shock collars circled his wrists and neck. Yet he stood upright, shoulders squared, breathing slow and steady. He had been captured during the Dominion's invasion of the Helios Verge, the last human stronghold beyond Sol. His fleet had been annihilated, his crew executed, his world soon to follow. Today he was to die in ritual combat against the Dominion's greatest champion, the Warmaster Kozol, a towering insectoid titan wielding twin plasma glaives. The crowd chittered with anticipation. For them, this was entertainment. For Jarol, it was closure, the symbolic ending of humanity's resistance. A herald's voice thundered across the arena. Behold, the final Terran. Let his death mark the dawn of Dominion eternity. The restraints on Rourke's collars deactivated with a hiss. Across from him, Kozol roared, striking his glaives together, sending arcs of molten light into the air. The signal horn blared. The fight began. Kozol lunged like a meteor. Rourke moved, not with alien speed, but with practiced precision. He rolled beneath the first strike, sand and glass exploding around him. He came up firing a compact kinetic pistol he'd hidden within his armor. The rounds sparked harmlessly off Kozol's energy shield. The crowd laughed. Rourke didn't. He ran forward, closing the distance. Kozol swung again. Rourke slid beneath the arc, jammed a grenade into a seam of the Warmaster's armor, and kicked away. The explosion rattled the arena. Kozol staggered, one limb damaged, ichor spilling. The laughter died. Murmurs spread. Jarol leaned forward slightly. Interesting. The duel continued. Every strike from Kozol was lethal, every dodge from Rourke impossibly narrow. He fought like a man who knew he was already dead, and therefore had nothing to lose. Piece by piece, his armor broke. Blood ran freely now. A glaive sliced his shoulder. Another crushed his ribs. Still he stood. Still he fought. Minutes passed. Then an hour. The Dominion had expected seconds. Finally, Kozol lifted both glaives overhead for the finishing blow. The crowd roared again. Jarol raised one claw, the signal that would mark the end. But before the blow fell, Rourke moved. He charged straight into Kozol's guard, took the descending glaives on his own armored forearms, bones snapping audibly. He screamed, not in fear, but in defiance, and drove a final blade upward into the Warmaster's exposed throat. Silence followed. Kozol toppled like a collapsing tower, dead before he struck the ground. The arena did not cheer. The Dominion had no concept for this outcome. Rourke stood swaying, both arms shattered, blood pouring onto the black glass floor. He removed his cracked helmet with trembling hands. His face was pale. His eyes burned with stubborn fire. He looked up directly at the Empress. "You wanted humanity's end," he rasped. "You're going to have to do it yourself." Guards surged forward. Energy rifles aimed. The crowd shrieked for execution. Jarl raised her claw again and stopped them all. Astonishment rippled across the amphitheater. She descended from her throne, her massive form gliding down the air steps until she stood before the dying human. Her 4 eyes studied him with unsettling intensity. "You should not be alive," she said, her voice echoing inside every mind through psychic resonance. "You have no chance of victory. No empire. No army. Why do you fight?" Rourke coughed, blood staining his teeth. "Because if we don't, we're already dead." The Empress regarded him in silence. For the first time in centuries, uncertainty crossed her alien features. She extended one clawed hand. A healing field shimmered. Bones reknit. Wounds sealed. Blood vanished. Rourke collapsed, alive, conscious, breathing. The crowd erupted into confused outcry. Jarl turned toward them, her voice ringing like thunder. "Today, I have witnessed something the Dominion has forgotten, the will to defy inevitability. This creature's species resists not because they expect victory, but because surrender is impossible to them." She looked back to Rourke. "I will not waste such a species on annihilation." Gasps spread through the nobles. Some hissed in protest. Others watched in fascination. Jarl raised her voice again. "Let it be decreed, humanity shall not be exterminated. They shall be tested, challenged, tempered, but never erased. Their defiance will sharpen the Dominion. Their spirit will strengthen it." She leaned close to Rourke. "You will return to your people. Tell them the Dominion comes, not as executioner, but as rival. Let them grow strong. Let them struggle. One day, we will meet again, and we shall see which will endures." Rourke stared up at her, stunned. Then he smiled, a small, fierce human smile. "We'll be ready." Moments later, a teleport field took him from the arena. He vanished in a pillar of blue light, sent back across the stars. The crowd remained in shocked silence. Jarl returned to her throne, eyes distant. She had intended to witness the end of a species. Instead, she had discovered something far more dangerous. Hope. And across the galaxy, on a distant wounded Earth, a battered human captain fell to his knees before his people, alive, carrying a single message. "The Empress fears us." And the long war for the future of the galaxy had only just begun. Kozol's body hit the black glass floor with a sound like a falling monument. Silence swallowed the arena. Rourke stood over the corpse, broken, bleeding, yet unbowed. He lifted his gaze to the throne. "To end us," he said, voice rough but steady, "you'll have to try harder than that." Weapons rose. Guards surged forward, but the Empress raised her claw, and the entire Dominion froze. She descended slowly, her towering form casting a shadow over the human. For a long moment, she simply observed him. Then, with a gesture, golden energy flowed from her hand. Rourke's wounds closed. His shattered bones mended. He collapsed to one knee alive. A ripple of disbelief passed through the crowd. "You fight without hope," Jarl said. "You resist without reason. Such defiance is rare." She turned to her nobles. "Humanity will not be destroyed. It will be tested, forged, allowed to grow strong." Then she looked down at Rourke. "Return to your people. Tell them the Dominion is coming, not to exterminate, but to challenge. Let the galaxy witness which will proves greater." A beam of light consumed him. When it faded, he was gone. Jarl returned to her throne, thoughtful. She had come to witness the end of humanity. Instead, she had witnessed its beginning. And far across the stars, Captain Rourke delivered a single message to Earth. The Empress spared us because she fears what we might become.